only way this can be. Only way this can happen. It's amazing sometimes when you're going through something that you can let what you go through make you talk the wrong way. See, the man was living in the moment. He saw how chaotic it was. So from a logical standpoint, his logic told him, this cannot happen like that. You know, but you know, sometimes the lack of faith has an undercurrent to it. Sometimes people got personal issues going on. See, I kind of sort of believe this guy really wanted to see Elisha's head roll, because the king was getting ready to cut off Elisha's head just before Elijah prophesied. You read it, you'll find out what I'm talking about. It's true there. So I kind of believe he had a little issue there. Sometimes when people don't believe God, they want everybody to be just like them. Unbelief is contagious. It'll spread like wildfire. So this guy had the nerve, the gall, the audacity to speak back to the prophetic word and say, ain't no way that's going to happen. But the moment he said it, God sent a word back to him. God sent a word back to him. You see, God wanted him to know, for what you just said, buddy, you're going to see it with your eyes, but you're not going to eat any of it. Your eyes may look, your teeth may grit, but this food you sure ain't going to get. In other words, God wanted to be known. Now, I want you to notice now, he was only talking to one person. He wasn't talking to the rest of them. You see, everybody was in the famine and was suffering from the famine. But God only spoke what he said to only one person, because he wanted him to know that everybody's going to get the blessing, but for what you just said. You know, a lot of people don't really believe there's consequences to negative words. You know, most of us, you know, we like to just talk off the cuff. We kind of say what we feel. Let somebody tell you, you know, the Lord gonna heal you, baby. The Lord's gonna heal you. I know too many people already sick. God ain't never healed them. You see, one of the things is always good to remember, when God is speaking, shut up. When God is talking, and if you ain't got the faith to believe, just hold your peace. This guy had the nerve, the audacity, the gall to speak negative. And I'm going to tell you something. I know a lot of people don't believe this, but God don't like negativity. and to show you he didn't like negativity, he singled out the one person who spoke. Now, you would actually think, if you really know a little bit more about this text, you would think that God would have held back the blessing from other people too, especially people who ate their own child. Now, that's kind of bitter. That's kind of bad. Who gets that desperate that you eat children? That's kind of bad. And then you boil and you want to eat the next child. That's kind of bad. But God didn't say nothing to those people. he said nothing to those people who were eating stuff that was unclean, which he didn't like that at all. But what he had an issue with is when somebody opened up his mouth and spoke negatively about what God was going to do. You see, it's amazing how people really think that what you say don't mean nothing. We like to think that, if somebody says something, if God says something, if you hear the word from the Lord, and, if you don't believe it, then you can just speak and say, well, I got to see it. I got to see it first. You see, there's some things you can't see that God's going to do for you. You got to believe it before you can get it. So this guy spoke up, and I like the fact that he speaks out because he teaches us a great lesson. He teaches us that you can cheat yourself out of what God wants to do for you. You can rob yourself out of what God wants to do in your life. A lot of people don't like to understand this or think about this. But faith starts in the heart. Starts in the heart, and then it comes through the mouth. Anytime you believe in something, you got to say it out of your mouth. The Bible said we believe and therefore we speak. So here is a good example of what he released from his mouth that disqualified him for what God wanted to do for him. Brothers and sisters, if you're going through something, do not talk negative about making it through it. You got to remember that everything that God has already promised, he's going to do just what he said. What God wants you to do is to say what he said. Even if you're struggling with believing, if you can just say what he said. What the man should have said when he said tomorrow about this time, he should have said, all right, tomorrow we're going to eat. Let's get ready. There's going to be some food around here. Instead of that, he cheated himself out of his blessing. I want to talk to a few people because there's some folks up in here right now that's been cheating yourself out of what God wants to do for you. Why don't you look at your neighbor and say, is it you tonight? Are you one of those people who done cheated yourself? God wanted to bless you. God wanted to bring a boatload to you, but you were talking negative. You were saying, I don't believe it. Look at somebody and say, might be some millionaires in here. I don't know. Might be some millionaires setting up in here right now. I don't know. Somebody might have taken what I just said and got mad about it and said, I dare him say something like that. Who knows? You never know when God's trying to speak to you. You never know when God's trying to tell you that your present circumstance or condition is about